Actually, my problem's not medical. It's psychological.
It's gotten chilly again, which is good. Everything is stiff. We're not going to have to deal with, hopefully, mud today. -9 right now. With the wind is probably like a -14-ish. Gonna take a boiler out just west of Didsbury. Nothing super intensive on the trombone for some reason, so it must be long but light. Gonna question that. Nothing like taking a boiler on a trombone. I'm like, if it's not super tall, then we put it on a high point. Gonna be driving by the yard where we're loading the boilers. We'll see what's sitting there. These guys usually got, it's Central Alberta Heating, so they're pretty big boilers, and that's also the one, the thick ass boiler I brought back from Grand Prairie. Obviously not that one we're taking out on a trombone, wouldn't break it. Will be first job after twisting off, which when I got back to the shop, they're like, yeah, we just reused the old through shaft from the other parts from when I had that bearing issue, and we replaced the whole front housing. So maybe suspect that maybe it was stressed. I doubt it, but maybe. I'm like, it kind of fucking snapped like a twig pretty easy. But then again, I don't have a lot of experience of having 200,000 pounds on my fifth wheel and getting a little bit of mud, you know what I mean? It's not very common for me. I'm like, usually when you're wheeling, you're light on the drives all the time because all the weight's on the Jeep, and there's not, you know, you're lucky if you got like 20,000 on the drives. So maybe possibly a lesson learned. But the cat wasn't there. I don't know. It was super early. I worked all night. My head wasn't right. I kind of brought it up when we got there. I'm like, we should probably wait for the cat to get here, because if I get stuck, some of the corners coming into that lease were soft on the outside, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to get out there. And if I get stuck on one of these corners and it's all cattle guards and cattle fence, I'm like, he's not gonna be able to get in here to get on the front of me, and he'll have to pull me backwards. It'll be a huge, and it wouldn't have been too bad. I'm sure if he would have pulled me back, he would have been able to get around me and deal with life. It didn't feel soft to me. Like, I was making decent headway and I was high in the RPMs. I wasn't bogging down. I didn't grab a gear. If I would have went to grab a gear, I would have been stopped dead anyways. I'm like, okay, well, that's where I'm sitting until the cat gets here. And I was just pow on and just snap. Very disappointing. Happy to have a nap at that point. It was about 4 a.m. Was up all day, had like a 2-hour nap before I started my journey at about 11 p.m. and did all the goodness out there. Everything was going good. And then, yeah, snap off. Luckily, it was just high enough out of the mud that we could get a mat underneath the legs of the coil and I could deck off. And then the cat pulled me out, took me out to the road and left me to die. And then one of the other guys, like, that was working out there, the oil company has its own trucking company, he hauled me back to town, which wasn't until like, shoot, damn near lunchtime, well, about 11, because he had a couple more things he had to do before he could haul me home. And once I got hauled home, it was like 2 o'clock, and right to it, Braden, the trooper, there in the snow, thawing snow dripping down on him. I'm like, you could have waited a couple hours. But he was gung-ho to get right to her, so I want you to go ahead of me. That's why I'm waiting. I just didn't want to stop at the red light because I knew you probably might. And also, when I was sitting out there waiting, I'm like, well, just push me back because we're kind of in a shit spot. I'll let you just push me back to the trailer and I can winch myself up on the trailer, no problem. Then my winch wouldn't turn on. I'm like flicking the switch and it turned on finally. And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it on. And then it shut off. I'm like, what? So yeah, I brought that up. I think maybe, I told him, I'm like, I think we ran new wires from everywhere except for from the pump back to the switch. So we've done from the switch out to the winch because we had some problems there, and then we couldn't remember what was replaced or what not from since I rigged it up to my fog light switch there this summer and half of fall. And it's just those little square connectors that have like 3 plugs in it, and it's got that screw that fastens it in so it never, you know, falls off. So hopefully he did that. I've also braided and rewired a bunch of wires underneath my truck because they fell down and were rubbing on the drive shaft, and my ABS light has been on for a while. I'm sure you guys have noticed in the videos I've always got a array of lights on the dash, but now they're all off. I was so proud the day I went out to go do that cola. I'm like, all the lights are off. I took the tape off the ABS light. I was like, yeah, finally. All the dash lights are off. 6 months later, 7 months? I don't know where I'm at. I should look that up. I'm not keeping track, really. So yeah, was all happy about that and proud, and so was Braden, and then I just fucking blew up the diff. Another benefit of having auxiliary is I just strap the shaft up and put the auxiliary in neutral so you can just get pulled without it flopping around, right? If you didn't have an auxiliary, I don't know if you could just, I'm pretty sure if you just put the transmission in neutral it works the same. I don't know. I don't have a lot of broken drive shaft experience, honestly. That'll be one time I broke a yoke or something at Road Train, like my first couple of years, just empty, leaving a stop sign. I just let the clutch out and just snapped in the bed truck. I was like, huh. Got put on the hook behind another bed truck and brought back from Asplin and Highway 20 there. That's the only other time I've had a drive shaft fall off or break or did something. Anyhow, so we'll go in. We're gonna go load this boiler and we'll get out to location. Should be pretty decent. I think my truck is still fully chained up, probably sitting in the shop, so I gotta take off all the tire chains, put those away, grab trailer. Should have came to work a little bit earlier, but I was being tardy. Editing, of course. Just like, oh, another 20 minutes when I should have been gone. Stand by. Another reason I don't do too much of this away from the truck, because I can't depend on this camera. It overheats real quick. It's probably not too bad in the winter, like right now, because it's kind of cold out. I've had a few people will be like, more POV, more POV. While other people are like, I hate head cam driving. Yeah, I know. Not everybody can be happy. plus I'm a little behind here. It's just could have totally put this on a high boy and it wouldn't have to suffer with trombone. I shouldn't have to stretch out. Well, I'm not. We'll see. Time for a new sling. The 1-inch doesn't like wheeling. Just fucking flattens it right out. I gotta bring that up. Like, I know a 1-inch can do the job, but I would feel way better having 1 1/16 or something, you know? And we just leave it. Leave it on the wheeler. That mid only does mid work, right? So there's no reason why we can't leave it on there. And I gotta find planks. It's like, yeah, there's planks. Here's 2 frozen in the ground somewhat. Fuck, I hate this. You're just going down the road and this shit busts off right into a car. Fuck. Fucking gonna be ice everywhere. There's a few planks back over there, maybe. Let's see what we got here. So we stick out a meter. We'll start from here. Nine, 10. Going out the stretch. Might be overweight. Na. My winch is acting up. Doesn't want to turn on. Sun in the face, always great. Oh, might be crooked as foobarred. Dogs are in, yes. Sneak some pins in, sneak some pins in, 'cause I'm shitty, 'cause I'm shitty. Always get thrown off by the pipe that's hanging out the side here. Some dumb reason. This is an unsafe moment brought to you by Time Lapse Trucker. Fuck you, what's your problem? Well, that's fucking just sweet. Shorter? Yep. Under tension, just barely sitting on the roll. Oh, what was that? Something's creaking up there, that's unsafe. No planks under it. the crooked offset will save me in the end. Whoa, that was a little abrupt. Not used to tiny boilers. My winch always ends up on that side once it's up to the neck, so I always gotta turn sideways a little bit to get it, you know, straight. Because I'm anal. That's her. Still skeptical of the dog's fix. That ain't fixed either. Oh! And I'm recovering from broken thumb. I had a chain skip and I just totally annihilated my thumb. Super not like backwards like this. I was pushing like this. I went down on the deck and literally folded it right back to my wrist. One of those fucking things where you're like, oh, that hurt immediately and it's gonna hurt. It's been like a week and a half. Oh, well, this is totally visible. Fuck. Fuck's sakes. That's what happens when you leave the door open. See the shit put up with day to day? What I get for caring. Oh, fucking light. Light, bro. Could totally put this on. It's not as high as the shack, so going on a high boy, you'd still be under 5 meters usually. Yeah, I know, that door sounds like shit. Flop. This end will be proper. No fucking... Yeah, I love doing that on my boomers. Saving all your guys' windshields, you're welcome. Nothing but the finest here at Brawler. You knows it. Oh, thumb. You don't know how much you need your thumb until you pretty much don't have it. Yeah, that's from when I did what was that? The sand minion. That morning going out, just fucking in a rush. It was early. And yeah, not that rushing had anything to do with it. I will use flags instead of swing out. It's not super wide by any means. This part sucks. Gonna put the boomer up there. If you cross-chained it properly, you wouldn't have to fight. It's tight. Another way you can punch the fucking door. You're like, oh, it's tight, it's tight, it's tight, and then it's like skips a link and you're like, boom. So you see a lot of time. Not that I want to chip the pain, but try not to. Lessons learned many a times. Punching steel. We'll call that good. Okay, well, I'll get the planks on my own here. These have seen better days. Have some new ones. Oh, that's right, dirt nasty too. Winter's being so mean to us. I'm cool if it stays cold though. No pun intended. Okay, I'll get the rest of this shit. We'll see you on the road. Well, I fucked up big time. I punched in LSD last night and I'm just like, oh, it's west of Didsbury down there. I'm like, okay. It's like an hour and a half to drive there. Not looking at any of the other part of the text. LSD was wrong. So instead of 582, which is Didsbury, it's 587, which is Bowden, which I'm like now fashionably an hour late. Like another 4K here and I'll be there. 1 hour late. Consultant not super happy when I phoned him, which is understandable. I would have been on time if I would have looked at that shit. So yeah. Hell of a way to start a Monday. At least this hill is decent. Usually it's icy and shitty. So yeah, I hate that. That gives me just as bad as a feeling as twisting off. Hate being late, drives me up the wall. Try to always be on time, if not early, you know? My whole life, I kind of thrive on that, not being late. Trying to be an excellent service provider, and here I am. I fucked it up today, so. But we'll be there shortly. Fucking Didsbury! Punched out the wrong LSD! Yeah. You gotta spot this?
Thank you.